Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala rasulihil kareem amma ba'd. An Abi Musa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu an al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala تعاهدوا هذا القرآن فوالذي نفس محمد بيده لهو أشد تفلتا من الإبل في عقلها رواه البخاري ومسلم أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. This chapter is regarding reciting the Quran regularly and memorizing it. And we know there are the benefits of memorizing the Quran and reciting it regularly. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in a hadith, when we recite a word of the Quran, we will get 10 hasanat. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam replied that what is the meaning of 10 hasanat? That alif lam mim. If one says alif lam mim, it does not mean that he just read one letter. Alif is a letter, lam is a letter, mim is a letter. It means once one who says alif lam mim, he will get 30 hasanat by saying alif lam mim. So we should not underestimate when we are reciting the Quran. There are a lot of rewards when we are reading it. This hadith is regarding that whatever we know from the Quran, like we memorize it, we should read it regularly. We should practice it regularly, because if we will not practice it regularly, then it will go away from our memory. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this hadith he mentioned the example then how quick Quran will go away from your memory. Abu Musa radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that read the Quran regularly by the one in whose hand Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam soul is. Like how important is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that it escapes from one's memory faster than a camel does from its ropes. Like if you want to save your camel, then you have to tie it by its rope, otherwise it will go away. If you will not protect it, you will not, like nowadays you can say if you have an expensive car and you want to save it from the thieves, then you have to lock it. You have to have a good security system, like you have to lock it properly, otherwise it will go away. Same way Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, because in that time the Arabs, they love their horse and their camels, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave the example of them that if you want to keep your camel with you, then you have to protect it, then it will be with you, otherwise it will go away. Same thing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned about the Quran, that if you memorize the Quran, and all of us we know some portion of the Quran, like we recite in every rakat Surah Al-Fatiha, we recite any portion of the Quran to validate our salah, because without that our salah will not be accepted. Even the small surah we know it, but we should practice out of the salah that we can keep those surah and those ayat in our memory, and we can see if long time we memorize something, but if we don't practice, whenever we read, we feel that we are making mistakes. And if someone listen our Quran, and he can correct us, and this happens a lot of time with us. Even we are hafiz, and we have to read Quran very regularly. Otherwise, if we will just skip the Quran, and then sometime without preparing we are saying the Quran, or we are just, even we prepared it but our attention is not there, the Quran will go away and we make mistake. And all of the Hufaz we can see while they are leading the Taraweeh especially. And who is the good Imam in leading Taraweeh? The one who practice a lot during the year for his Quran. Otherwise, whoever is not leading the Taraweeh, it means he is not practicing his Quran regularly. So that's why this is the best example, not just for the Hufaz. All of us, we are Hafiz for some of the surah. So whatever the surah we know it, we should practice it regularly. And also this hadith, by this hadith and other hadiths, that we should read the Quran as much as we can, more Quran memorize. Like if we can target some surah, like we recite Surah Yasin regularly, we try to memorize it. Maybe it will take months, but you can every day, one line you can memorize or one ayah you can memorize, Do it and then see, inshallah. Once you memorize a page, then you will love to memorize more, inshallah. Once you finish Surah Yasin, then start Surah Tabarakalladhi, then start Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Surah Naba, any Surah, Surah Al-Rahman. Inshallah, once you will start it, you will not stop yourself and you will continuously keep doing that. So that, and whenever you did something, you have something in your memory, inshallah. By this hadith, practice it regularly, inshallah, by reciting it. Once we recite it, then inshallah day will come, then we will love to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in these ayah to me. Because once, if just imagine if you memorize Surah Yasin, lot of rewards of reciting Surah Yasin. Once you memorize it, then you will think that Allah mentioned that this is the heart of the Quran, as Rasulullah said, Surah Yasin. What is the reason? Why not I should read the translation of the Quran? Why should not I see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining in this particular surah? Because this surah has a high status, that this is the heart of the Quran. And then Surah Tabarakalladhi, recommended to read every night. Surah Waqi'ah after Maghrib Salah to read every day. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is Allah mentioned in this surah? Why Rasulullah recommended us to read it regularly? Then inshallah, once we are connected with the Quran, then inshallah we will love to understand the Quran, inshallah. And when we know the Quran, we know the meanings of the Quran, the tafsir of the Quran, then inshallah it will be so easy for us to practice upon it. It may inshallah make us act upon it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya al Mursaleen. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Allahumma ahsin aqibatana fil umuri kulliha wa ajirna min khizyi dunya wa adhabil akhirah. Allahumma a'inna ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik. Allahumma inna nas'aluka tamam al-afiyah. اللهم إنا نسألك دوام العافية. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. اللهم ارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وعملا صالحا وشفاء من كل داء. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر المسلمين في سبيلك في كل مكان. اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين. اللهم أصلح أحوال المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين.